Shabbat Shalom. This is Friday the 13th of December 2019, and this is the only true and complete obituary of William Wayne Krueger Jr. that will ever be published. I've read what the fiction that was finally published today, according to them, some 10 days after his alleged death. And I don't care if I kind of blow my cover here. I can always start another channel, but this will always be available on the internet. Sorry, it was a warm, beautiful, sunny day, and it's one of the happiest days of my life because Billy Wayne Krueger is dead, finally. This will be the only true, accurate biography and obituary of William Wayne Krueger Jr. I'll try not to talk about his son, William Wayne Krueger III, who neither of which even closely resembled my father. The reason I know all of this is because I use a different spelling of my name in my father's first name. I'm not Wayne Krueger. I'm Kent Krueger. I have another YouTube channel. I just wanted to escape all the psychotic, pedophile, evil Yankees that were pursuing me and most of my subscribers. How do you begin to tell the story? This is going to go at least 2 or 3 recordings probably tonight. And I'm almost finished with 1 bottle of wine, and I'm sober as a judge, which is actually an English joke. Judges were usually drunk. But I think it's best to start with the very beginning. I know the camera lens is right over there, but I'm going to continue to look right here. Now, I'm an unusual person. My DNA is the oldest on this planet. I'm neuroatypical. My memory begins at 6 months of age. And repeatedly throughout life until recently, I've always tested total recall, which is in memory, and both verbatim, visual, everything, which makes me most people's enemies because most people love to lie and twist the truth, etc. But when you can throw their words right back at them, they hate you. So I'm already 4 minutes in, so let me get on with the beginning of this because this is only going to just cover the first of it. This will be at least 3 episodes. Please stay tuned and listen to and follow the true life story and obituary of William Wayne Krueger Jr. or William Wayne Krueger II. I'll put up both. Now, as a little boy, my brother wasn't around. My brother had somehow managed to actually, at an early age, get off and get actually I know how it happens because football players and football coaches and people they're extremely homosexual and always seeking out children. They're pedophilic, etc. And all the way from Caldwell, Texas, over to Bryan, somebody sought out my brother after the Shriners which after he got his millions, he never gave them a penny back for repairing his defective hip joint. He was the firstborn in the family out of 8. And he was recruited to play for Allen Academy, which later the Allen family tried to have their beautiful daughter Polly made up with me by sending her to public school, and they own their own private academy. And so at Allen Academy, he began to play the horn and played, was a champ athlete, please, in the private, academy 6-man football teams. Oh, please. It only takes one player to make a championship team. So he went straight from there into the U.S. Army. And he went from being a chubby kid, the military. It's the Allen Academy is a military academy. They kind of shaped him up and stuff, and taught him a few things. And one of the things he realized is that being in the military can be a very good gig. So he went down to Panama, where he very quickly went from being an 18-year-old kind of pudgy kid into 20-year-old, I think it's captain is the rank he was at. And if you want to look up his now memorial Facebook page, Bill Krueger Sr., Bill Krueger Jr., not the third, you will see that age 20, he was totally man pretty. And he turned himself into a gigolo. Not only did he tell me that about the fact that he was, spending all his paychecks at the whorehouses of Panama and so on, he was getting around, and he got noticed by this beautiful, light-eyed, not blue-eyed, but hazel-eyed, blonde-haired heiress of one of the richest men in Panama. That's a whole other story. I'll try to get around to it. And he locked on to her, and he did all that straight posture and military bearing because her father was the U.S., the Panamanian ambassador to the U.S., and he was one of the richest men in Central America, and soon to die. This is just going to be the beginning. This is just setting up his life. Please stay tuned and check in for episode number 2, where I really start shoveling the dirt. So he married this, and actually in her day, Ida Graciela, I'm sorry, I keep getting mother and daughter. Ida Graciela Preciado y Garcia was, especially in the Latin world, was a beautiful woman in her day. Blonde, slender, wealthy, a real catch. And she wanted him because he was an American citizen, an American soldier, a captain, an officer working in the Canal Zone, and her ticket back to the U.S. where she had gotten her education but was forced to return to Panama. So it was perfect for both of them. He knew that he would never have to work again in his life. He never did. As soon as he got married, the shape of his ass began to change because he hit that desk in that office chair and started puffing on a pipe. And I should have gone just live with this. And even as a young man, I have to admit that my brother, William Wayne Krueger Jr., treated me kind of nice because that's the way he is with certain people until you catch him in a lie. He would invite me to his home in Nederland and stuff like that when he was a salesman and stuff like that. And he had some of the easiest jobs. He was pushing Nestle, we had cases of those Farfel mugs, and he latched onto and made a bundle of money off of Ortho Novum's first birth control pill on earth. Made plenty of money to where he wasn't really at first so dependent on his in-laws. And then he forced my brother Jerry out of a business that I was its first employee and its only employee from age 7 till age 12. And they never paid my Social Security. Never. Always trying to pay me below minimum wage, always trying to, even from Jerry. But at first, he would try to be nice to me and stuff like that. But as soon as I went to work for him, I realized exactly what he was. He was just waiting for his mother-in-law to die. And for all them tens of millions, I'm pretty sure that the family wealth, because the Preciado Garcia family was part of the Panamanian, this is going to go on for several episodes, Panamanian Revolution. I mean, she knew Omar Torrijos, went to the same Catholic school, even though girls and boys were divided. She still grew up with Omar Torrijos, and I know the real story, which few do, which is that the Panamanian Revolution was a complete farce, and almost nobody knows that the fact that this revolution wasn't a real revolution. I mean, the rich people, they took their lands, but in my sister-in-law's case, they only took about 95% of the land and left many square miles and the 3-story mansion that she retreated to often because she was a drug addict and she owned many pharmacies in Panama and so on, and was, so anyway. And, but then I really, going to work for him, I realized that he was one of the most pipe-dreaming, scheming, lazy. I did all the work, really. In a business that's, we were the local Wall Street Journal, Bryan College Station, Business Digest, and Court Review. I learned a lot. I learned how to deal with all kinds of people, including my asshole brother. And that's what this series is all about, is the true obituary. Where what really pissed me off, and I just got that message from my attorney, that he had noticed that this obituary that was, at least according to record, at least 10 days slow being printed, and is left out my sister Rhonda because the writers considered Rhonda an embarrassment, and so do I, but Rhonda was, that's a whole nother subject. So what this series, what this obituary series is all about is telling the real truth of William Wayne Krueger Jr., who constantly disrespected his father. I never disrespected my father. I was there until his last breath. Was Billy Wayne there? No. Most of my siblings weren't there. And I was risking my entire education to be with my father because I turned down Stanford, the last 5-year contract ever offered by Stanford, to come to Texas A&M University and play ball for them so I could be close to my father because I knew he was dying of leukemia, benzene-induced leukemia from the International Shoe Factory. Yeah. So let me get on with William Wayne Krueger Jr., William Wayne Krueger II, who was nothing like my father. William Wayne Krueger Jr. was a greedy pig, a gigolo, who lived off of his in-laws forever. And actually, my sister-in-law was smart enough, was U.S. educated, L.A., Catholic college educated enough to use one of my cousins, who was an executive at the Texas Commerce Bank, one Sudie Faye Taft, to get all those tens of millions of dollars secreted out of Panamanian banks and into her bank accounts so that my brother couldn't touch it, which really pissed him off. I'm probably going to tell a lot of stories tonight. I hope you keep paying attention. I'm past 15 minutes.